I want to be the one to say it. I really do. Get out of them toxic, disgusting relationships. Get out of those relationships. The second you do, the more clarity you'll have, the more confidence you'll have, the more blessings will come from your obedience, because you were never supposed to be in that relationship in the first place. If you were, you wouldn't have any questions. I was in a relationship for 13, 14 years that drained me. And of course, at times it was beautiful. Of course, we got married. Of course, we had children. Of course, there were always times where we had good times or whatever. We grew up together. There were some things that happened that clouded my judgment. But the bad was the bad. The bad was too bad. I let a lot slide that I should not have let slide, which then distracted me from what God has really called me to do. And you don't even know until hindsight. You don't even know until you're out of the relationship and you're seeing how quickly God is blessing you because of your obedience, how quickly God is using you, how quickly God restores your clarity of mind, how quickly you start to get downloads and visions of things that has always been in you, but they've been held up because you've been exposed to somebody that wasn't supposed to be in your life in the first place. And of course, they may be good people in some areas, but you know that the way that they have treated you, the things that they have said to you, the things that they've allowed to go on while you've been connected to them is not okay. It's not okay. And we have to stop making excuses for people who do those things to us willingly. They are assigned to distract you from your true purpose. The longer you stay in those relationships and continue to lie to yourself and continue to weigh the good, and you know that the bad is outweighing, you are on the good side yourself, pushing it down, and the bad is still leveling out. And it's not okay. It took me to now, I'm about 2 years out from my divorce, and I'm so peaceful. I'm so happy. Everything's not perfect. I'm still building, and that looks like something in itself, but it's a beautiful thing to where you get to rebuild and rebirth yourself with God, with the person who created you. We're not in a season of dating, and I go back and forth with myself because I feel like I want to date or I want to put myself out there, but every time I do, just want to say, okay, well, I'm just going to talk to guys. Every time I decide to talk to somebody, there's they either want to be in a relationship, they want to be married, I don't know if it's just me, but they gravitate in a way to where they want to go to the next step, whether that be sex, whether that be relationship, whether that be married, whether that be they want to have children. And honestly, I don't want to do that right now. I believe that I've done that for long enough, and it is time for me to build something. I'm in a space to recover what was mine from the beginning, because the enemy has used this person, and I'm convinced that he has literally used this person to distract me. And I know that it has been that, because every time I get to a healed space, and every time I would get to a clarity of mind, and I would set goals, and I would be on this path to what God is calling me to do, every time we would break up, before we got married, we would break up, and every time I would get to that clear state of mind, he would sense it and he would come back. And since we've been divorced, he would do the same thing. If you've gone through this and you know what I'm talking about, your boundaries have to be so tight when you're going through something like this, because the enemy will send you either him or another man to distract you. And sure, you can get back into another relationship. Sure, we all can. But why? You have things to do. I have things to do. There is time for that. I believe that you got to be clear on what God is wanting you to do in this season. And I am clear to the point where I know that a relationship is not my priority in this season. My children are my priority, and what my purpose is my priority right now. There should be no confusion whatsoever. If there is confusion as to what God is having you to do, then we got to silence the noise. It is time to silence the noise at this point. And that's noise, whether that be friendships, whether that be relationships, whether that be anything that's distracting you from what could be. I'm not in space to put any energy into a relationship. And I think the enemy sends relationships to distract the ones that have something huge inside of them from their purpose, to delay it, and to he tries to do whatever he can to distract your purpose, and he'll use your weaknesses to do it. That is what has happened to me for years. He knows that I had a heart for this person. He knows that I would just, I would drop anything like a fool to be with this person that was misusing me, that was lying to me, that was manipulating me, that was, abusing me mentally and physically at times because of his drinking issues. And nobody should have to go through that. No one. If that is happening and you're making excuses for it, you are aiding the problem. You're abusing you. And I'm not blaming you, but at some point it has to stop. And you have to, you gotta get some balls to leave. You got to. And I know people say you're not gonna leave until you're really ready. That is true. I'm the type of person that it takes me, when I love somebody, I love somebody. So I need to be able to release everything, all the love that I have for you, which is a gift and a curse because I stayed past the time that I should have. And that's what I did. I saw through a lot of things that I shouldn't have, wasting time. I still got some good years up under me because your girl is working out. And ever since I left that relationship, it just seems like blessings fell. I'm not even close to what God is going to do. Not even close. If you're in this season to where you are questioning anything about this person, if they've done anything to reduce your confidence, if they've done anything to hurt you or make you feel some kind of way about your marriage or relationship, because there's so many miserable people in marriages that lose themselves and they come out on the other side and it's like, dude, you're not even the same person anymore. You have completely lost your mental health. You have completely just lost it because you have devoted and sacrificed your life, your mental health, for a fool that can't recognize your worth. And once you start healing, you start to see people for who they are and why they do the things that they do. But that is not your job. That is not your job to figure it out and to give them grace while you sacrifice yourself to heal the both of y'all, or to try to heal the both of y'all. You cannot heal them in a broken incubator. You can't heal them. Not if they are continuing to hurt you. Not if they are continuing to hurt you. Of course, things happen in marriage that aren't the best. But if they are continuing to do things, if you are not seeing any fruit of accountability, if you are not seeing any fruit of repentance, meaning they're turning and they're not doing it again, they're not repeating it. If you're not seeing any fruit of anything of anything that they've done, you need to go. Period. I'm tired of people saying, well, I'm not going to tell nobody to leave their marriage. And no, if they are doing things that are harming you, I'm an advocate for marriage. But if they are doing things that are causing you to lose yourself and causing you that it's just making you feel like it's eating away, they're continuously cheating, they're having babies on you, they're putting their hands on you, they're doing all of those things, they're abusing you in any way, absolutely not. Because that is not how Christ loved the church. Period. God does not want us to endure to the point where we are sacrificing ourselves for an individual who is willingly abusing us. Physically, mentally, emotionally, all the things. I don't care what anyone says. Long suffering is not being beat on. Long suffering is not being cheated on. Long suffering is not a man having a baby with another woman while he is married to you. That is not long suffering. That is abuse. Now, I'm an advocate for leaving. And I think that you should. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Like, so many people are in these relationships and their dreams die because they've been in a relationship that sucks them dry so much to the point where when they eventually get out, they have nothing else to give. Nothing else. And they completely lose themselves. And they cannot fulfill the purpose that God has for them. And I'm not perfect. I am still in a space to where I am digging up things. After 13, 14, 15 years, I'll say 15 because I'm still dealing with things with this individual that no one should have to. With co-parenting and things like that. But that's another conversation for another day. I just wanted to come on here and encourage anybody that if you are going through these things, I believe that a lot of us are in relationships that our flesh united. And when that relationship is led by the flesh, it's always going to be destruction. I'm not talking to the ones that's married and y'all went through a bad stage in y'all marriage. The first couple years of marriage is difficult. I'm not talking to nobody that, y'all just having financial issues or whatever. I'm not talking to nobody that's going through a hard time in their marriage and, like, not the minuscule things that you can prey on, the things where that person it could be like something that could be tough, but it's not hard to overcome. Not situations where you're trying to self-sabotage the marriage to get out. I'm talking about instances where you know that you're being abused, but you're letting it slide. And you're saying, oh, well, maybe it won't happen again, and maybe he's done. And if you got to say any of that stuff, get out, be done. Because they're not done. They're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep doing it until God changes them. And most of the time, it has to be something that is shaking to change them. And you don't want to be around when that happens. You don't want to have nothing to do with them when that happens. I remember the first instance that happened to me. And I remember my father telling me, this was before we had gotten married. My dad was like, this ain't the time for you to go and try to save him. Let him go through that by himself. What I do? What did I do? I went back. I felt bad. I went back and tried to help him. And what he do? He threw it in my face for helping him. He went through something that was life-changing. You hear me? And had I not been around to help, had my family not been around to help, it could have went another way. So this is not the time. Like, wipe your hands. Wipe your hands of the situation and be done, because there's so many other blessings on the other side when you are away from someone who is willingly doing things and they're not sorry. There's pride, there's ego. They're not sorry. They may have said, whatever, and then went back on their word, and they're still staying out all night, and they're still drinking, and they're still smoking, and they're still doing all of these things to inebriate their mind, to distract them from facing themselves. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. Get out now. I'm going to be doing videos on things like this because I feel led to do it, and I did not listen, and I don't want, if I can, kind of encourage anybody that's in my situation to leave sooner, I will. Because a lot of us find ourselves in these marriages that we put together, and then we question, why is it not working? And then we get depressed and discouraged because it's not working. Why? Because we put it together. It was not from God. We are supposed to be focusing on our purpose, and we're focusing on a man that oh, he look good. Oh, he da-da-da-da. Oh, he this and he that, and he got a good job, and he da-da-da-da. No. That's not, you got something you supposed to be doing. And that wasn't your time to be in a relationship yet. It's time for you to focus on purpose. And then when God sends the man, because he who finds a wife finds a good thing, you will know. There will be no question. There will be no question. Have a good day.